What's up, guys? It's Humphrey the P-Chan again with another Boku no Pico review. This time we're gonna review episode 2. Now, just some quick disclaimers. If you hear me breathing, that's because I'm fat. So, my fat ass can't breathe right. If you hear people, that's because I live in a house with annoying people. If you hear the helicopters, that's because I live in the ghetto. And if you hear sirens, that's the FBI knocking on my door. So, let's begin first off by how it starts. We, It starts off kind of similar to the first one, where we see a new character called Chico swimming in a lake, but this time he's full nude, and Pico just happens to be strolling by on a bicycle. Later on, Chico invites Pico to his house, where they meet Chico's big sister, who isn't really given a name, and all is fun, all is good and well. You know, like it starts off as every other anime, and it's a nice house too. It's a big house, but these people live all alone. It's just Chico and his big sister, and for some reason, Pico just happened to be strolling by. They end up entering an attic which is Chico's secret hiding spot, where they let her find a crack in the floor where they could spy on his sister, where she is pleasuring herself because she is lonely out there because there's no one to give her the good deed. And Chico's starting to understand that this is wrong, so he kind of sees it and doesn't really understand what's going on either. But he gets a little excited, and Pico knows this, and he asks him like if he knows anything about it. Chico responds with a no, and Pico's like, "Hey, you want me to show you?" And Chico's like, "Yeah, I want to see how it feels." So of course they start doing it, and Chico's inexperienced. He doesn't do any of this. He was just a normal boy before this, but Pico started sucking him off, giving the good turnaround and everything. Yeah, the usual. Chico is a little embarrassed at first. It's a learning experience for him. He's scared. But he ends up enjoying it, and it ends with a full face blast in Pico's mouth. The next day comes, and the sister's serving him up food. And they talk about their little secret. They see a banana, like, guess what? You remember yesterday when you caught your sister just going ham with that banana? And later on, they end up going to the ravine to have bike rides and have fun. But the one thing I have noticed is that they start playing with each other naked a lot. And the sister doesn't notice because she's busy being the house cleaner and all that, as they're the only two that live there. So she doesn't really notice when things like this are going off until later. So the sister is doing her usual activities, and later on we see Pico and Chico playing hide and seek. They probably had sex in earlier, the usual. Chico's hiding, Pico's looking for him. They end up finding each other. The sister leaves so she could go get groceries, which is a perfect opportunity for the boys to be alone at home. They enter her closet and they start wearing girl clothes as usual. And okay, that's the last picture I have. So let's go back to this one. This best represents the rest of it. So they start wearing it around, and they're calling each other very pretty because they're both very feminine boys. And they start making out, and then they start going ham on each other again. Eventually, though, the sister ends up getting back home, but and she sees this as the boys have found a vibrator and have started playing with it. And then after that, another scene occurs. But the sister catches them, but instead of stopping it, because she herself is also very lonely when it comes to sex, she starts watching them and she starts masturbating it to herself. In a way, it's kind of like payback for every time Chico would look at her. Eventually, it ends up with both of the boys finishing it off and getting ready for another adventure, which will be in part 3. So, critiques: the animation is as good as hentai gets. Sometimes the faces are a little weird. The characters' voices are kind of weird. The water always looks nice for some reason. Um, you know, not much to say about the sex scenes. I'm not the person that'll enjoy that, but there's people that enjoy that. People like watching little kids do that. those people deserve to be locked up, but there's people that enjoy that. Um, you know, this episode though, I will say, was much darker than the first one. In a way, it's kind of funny. Pico finds Chico the same way that I forgot his name, found Pico, like by the river, just like being naked in the water. And because Pico was taught that way of like the sex and stuff like that, that's how he started taking Chico. In a way, he's continuing a dark cycle that he has no real control of because that's the only way he knows, you know? The episode does try and put in a couple of childish innocence, like uchinichini, which is Japanese, like for little kids when they say dick, and oni-chan and stuff like that. The episode, to be honest, without all the weird Boku no Pico stuff, it would have actually been a very child-friendly episode, but like sex and all that. And the relationship these two boys have is very odd. Chico, in a way, was Pico in this episode, and Pico was, in a way, the same as the other guy was in the other episode. But the difference was that the other guy knew what he was doing, and Pico doesn't. He just knows that's the only way he knows. But yeah, this was Boku no Pico episode 2 review. If I don't upload the third one for a while, I am probably held up in custody. Thank you for watching, and I'll make the third one soon, guys. I promise. So yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace out.